Your brain isn't broken. It's just running software you installed when you were 7 years old. Think about that for a moment. Every fear you carry, every pattern you keep repeating, every time you've told yourself you're not good enough, not smart enough, not capable enough, none of that was your decision. It was programmed into you before you even had the ability to question it. By your parents, your teachers, your early experiences, your failures, your embarrassments. All of it got stored deep in your subconscious mind as absolute truth. And here's what nobody tells you. Your conscious mind, the part that's listening to me right now, controls only about 5% of your behavior. The other 95% runs on automatic, on those old programs. But here's the good news. Software can be updated. And in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how. Here's something most people never figure out. They spend their entire lives trying harder, more discipline, more motivation, more willpower. They read the books, watch the videos, set the goals, make the plans. And for a few days, maybe a few weeks, things change. Then slowly, quietly, they slide right back to where they started. Same anxiety, same procrastination, same relationship patterns, same financial ceiling they can never seem to break through. And they blame themselves. They think something is wrong with them. But nothing is wrong with them. They're just fighting the wrong battle. Trying to change your life using only your conscious mind is like trying to change the direction of a ship by blowing on the sails with your mouth. The engine is somewhere else entirely. That engine is your subconscious. And until you learn to work with it instead of against it, nothing you do at the surface level will stick. This isn't theory, this is neuroscience. Your brain physically resists change that contradicts its existing programming. It treats those old beliefs as survival information. Change feels like a threat, so the brain protects them until you go in and update the code directly. Before we talk about how to reprogram your mind, you need to understand what you're actually working with. Your subconscious mind is not some mystical thing. It's a biological system, an incredibly sophisticated one, whose entire job is to keep you alive and consistent. It stores every experience you've ever had, every emotion, every pattern, every conclusion you ever drew about yourself and the world. And it runs all of this automatically in the background without you ever having to think about it. That's mostly a good thing. You don't have to consciously remember how to walk, how to speak, how to drive. Your subconscious handles it. The problem is that it handles your self-image the same way, automatically, without question. If at age 8 you decided you were bad at math, maybe because a teacher embarrassed you in front of the class, your subconscious stored that as fact. And for the next 30 years, every time numbers appeared, it quietly whispered, "This is not for you." You never chose that belief, but you've been living inside it ever since. Reprogramming your mind means going into that storage system and replacing the files that no longer serve you. At this point, you might be thinking, okay, so I'll just use affirmations. I'll repeat positive statements until my brain believes them. And I want to be honest with you here, because most self-help content won't be. Affirmations on their own mostly don't work. Not because the idea is wrong, but because of how people use them. Here's what happens in most people's brains when they stand in front of a mirror and say, "I am confident and successful." The conscious mind says the words, and the subconscious, which has decades of evidence to the contrary, immediately fires back with a counter-signal. It doesn't argue in words, it argues in feelings. A quiet, uncomfortable, almost physical sense of, "No, you're not." That feeling is your subconscious rejecting the new file because it contradicts the existing programming. And when there's a conflict between your conscious thoughts and your subconscious feelings, the feelings win. Every single time. This is why you can know intellectually that you're capable and still feel like a fraud. This is why you can know a relationship is bad for you and still go back. Knowledge lives in the conscious mind. Behavior is driven by the subconscious. So how do you actually get in there and change things? There are 3 techniques that work, and they work because they speak the language the subconscious actually understands. The first technique is about timing. Your subconscious mind is not equally accessible at all times of day. There are 2 windows, 2 specific periods, when the barrier between your conscious and subconscious mind is at its thinnest. The first window is the 20 minutes immediately after you wake up. In those first minutes of the morning, your brain is still producing theta waves, the same slow, relaxed brainwave state associated with deep meditation and hypnosis. Your critical mind hasn't fully switched on yet. You're suggestible, open, receptive. Whatever you feed your mind in those 20 minutes goes in deep. The second window is the 20 minutes before you fall asleep. Same thing happens in reverse. Your brain is slowing down. Theta waves are rising. The critical filter is relaxing. What you think about, read, or listen to during those minutes gets processed during sleep, when the subconscious is most active. Most people waste both these windows. They wake up and immediately check their phone. They fall asleep watching television or scrolling social media. They're feeding their subconscious anxiety, comparison, and noise during the exact hours when it's most impressionable. The fix is simple. Use those windows deliberately. Read something that reinforces who you want to become. Write down the beliefs you're installing. Listen to audio that speaks directly to the person you're building. Do this consistently for 30 days and you will feel the shift. Not think it, feel it. The second technique is the one most people skip, and it's the one that makes the biggest difference. Your subconscious mind doesn't store information, it stores experiences. More specifically, it stores emotionally charged experiences. Think about your clearest childhood memories. They're not the ordinary days. They're the moments when something made you feel something strongly. Joy, fear, embarrassment, pride, love. Emotion is the signal that tells your brain, this matters, remember this. This is exactly why you can read a fact 100 times and forget it. But one embarrassing moment at age 12 stays with you for decades. The embarrassment made it stick. Now here's how you use this for reprogramming. When you're working with a new belief, let's say, I am capable of building something great, don't just think the thought. Attach a feeling to it. Close your eyes. Imagine in vivid detail what your life looks like when that belief is fully real. Where are you? What are you doing? Who's around you? How does it feel in your body, that sense of having built something you're proud of? Stay in that feeling for at least 60 seconds. Let it become physical, not just mental. When you do this, you're speaking the subconscious mind's native language. You're creating an emotionally charged experience, and the subconscious can't fully distinguish between something you vividly imagined with feeling and something that actually happened. That's not a flaw. That's a feature. Use it. The third technique is the one that locks everything in. Here's the insight behind it. Most people try to change their behavior in order to eventually change how they see themselves. They think, once I've been consistent for long enough, I'll finally believe I'm disciplined. Once I've made enough money, I'll finally feel successful. Once I've lost the weight, I'll finally feel confident. But that's backwards. Your brain doesn't update your identity based on outcomes. It updates your identity based on what you repeatedly do. The smallest consistent action sends a louder signal to your subconscious than any amount of thinking or wishing. When you make your bed every morning, your subconscious logs. This is a person who follows through on things. When you go for a walk instead of reaching for your phone when you're stressed, your subconscious logs. This is a person who takes care of themselves. When you write one paragraph of that book you've been putting off, your subconscious logs. This is a person who creates things. None of these actions are dramatic, but they are votes. Every small action is a vote for the identity you're building. And over time, the subconscious counts the votes. It updates the file. It starts to believe what you're showing it through your actions. So don't wait until you feel like the person you want to become. Act like that person in small ways, starting today. The feeling follows the action, not the other way around. So let's bring this together. Your subconscious mind runs 95% of your behavior based on programs installed long before you had any say in the matter. Trying harder at the conscious level, more willpower, more motivation, doesn't touch those programs. What does touch them is working with how the subconscious actually operates. Use the access windows, morning and evening, to feed it what you want it to believe. Use emotional anchoring, vivid, felt imagination, to make new beliefs stick. Use identity-based action, small, consistent, deliberate, to show your subconscious through behavior who you're becoming. None of this is complicated, but it requires consistency, and it requires understanding why you're doing it, not just what to do. That understanding, the full picture of how your mind works and how to work with it, is exactly what my book, Reprogram Your Mind, walks you through. Not as theory, as a practical step-by-step process with exercises you can start tonight. The link to the book is in the description below. If this video gave you even one thing you didn't know before, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want more content like this, subscribe. Because this is just the beginning. Your mind is not fixed, it is programmable. And you are the one holding the keyboard.